3-pound rooster, and it was just the toughest bird. It's exactly what you're talking about. But the trick is those birds are great if you know what to do with them. And the trick is very slow, long cooking. And think about, like, most of their merit is lying in their the bones and the sinew and the collagen that's present in the chicken. So an old, rangy, skinny chicken that doesn't have a lot of meat to it, I'm going to throw that in a pot and cover it with water, and throw some bay leaves and some onion in there and turn that onto a simmer. And what you're going to get out of that is some incredible stock. You pull that bird out and you shred the meat off of it, and then you can do something with that, I think. And I think you'll find that for their size, they really give up a lot of value and if cooked in that way. I mean, and traditionally that's what chickens were. I mean, literally 6 hours? I got called out. 4 hours. Yeah, till they're tender. People are always asking me, how long? I'm like, till it's done. I'm not there to see how high you've got it turned up, how much water's in the pot. It could be up to 6 hours. I know I've cooked a couple of my birds for probably at least 5 hours because it takes a while to get it tender. If that is your bird, then you go online, look at some recipes. It's basically you're going to want to stew that bird. You're going to want to either like brown it and then add liquid and cook it very slow with vegetables, carrots, onions.
Red wine.
Red wine. Red wine red wine has acid in it, so that's acting as a tenderizing agent on the chicken. So it's making it more tender and breaking it down, and also kind of adding to that rich chicken flavor that you get from a bird that's exercising more. That's why they're kind of rangy like that, because they got a lot of exercise, so they have more flavor actually. So I think also change your concept of it. It's like you've got a good thing going on there. It's not a bad thing. But these really flavorful, dense birds, they're not tough.
Is there a way to use bones and bones all that little meat and just thrown it away so you can do a stock type of thing also? Is there a secret for that?
He's asking about using the bones after you've eaten the chicken. Absolutely, make stock. If you don't have enough bones to make stock immediately, freeze those bones and just keep adding to your collection until you have enough bones. And then you just take all those, put them in a pot, cover them with water. You sound like a broken record. Little bay leaf, little onion, bring it to simmer, cook it for 6 hours for sure. And you've got stock. Even a roasted bird, even a fried bird. I mean, we save every bone and just stockpile them until you got bones. And you get more value out of it. I mean, when you're dropping $30 on your chicken, you're gonna want some stock out of it too. Absolutely. That's a really good question. She asked about free-range labels, and I think labeling in meat right now is pretty sketchy. You don't, like all natural, there is no, the USDA doesn't govern anything about what all natural means. And it's like you see all natural stamped on a package, it's like, great. You're like, wait a minute, I mean, I'm supposed to think that something is all natural, it's beneficial. It's like, well, it shouldn't everything that we eat be natural. Free range, if you have 10,000 chickens in a warehouse, you can allow a little area, maybe 20 by 20 outdoor area with a door that allows them access where maybe they can get out there. Most Cornish cross birds, which is what you find in the store, they're not even going to choose to go outside. So free range, depending on the source, might might not mean anything. It might mean something if you go to the farmer's market and they're like, oh, we free range our birds, and you're like, well, what do you mean? Like, well, they run around all day and eat grasshoppers. And it's like, okay, there you go. Free range, you know, if Tyson came out with a free range brand of their chicken, I wouldn't touch it, you know, because they're going to meet the bare minimum requirements to call their bird free range, and there are no requirements as far as I know. There might be, but I mean, like grass-fed beef, you can still finish a cow on corn and call it grass-fed at this point. So it's kind of iffy. That's, I mean, one thing that we teach a lot is just know your source. You know, just if you're looking eye to eye with a farmer and raise a chicken, you feel a lot better about it.
Is there a big difference? Is there a big difference between processing a chicken and a duck?
Yes, there's a big difference between processing a chicken and a duck. The answer is yes when it comes to plucking. A chicken goes pretty quick. You dunk it in about 140-degree water, pull it out. A person, you know, that's done it before could probably have that bird plucked in anywhere from 3 to 15 minutes, depending on outside variables. If it's a cold, windy day, it seizes up the follicles. The duck, however, is very much different. They are a lot harder to kill. They are strong animals, and they die a little bit slower. Chickens kind of give up. Ducks, in my experience, you have to be very in tune with the processing and very focused on making it go quick. And the plucking is very hard. They're designed to live in water, so their follicles are really tight, and they've got a layer of feathers underneath their other feathers called the tent feathers, and they have down. And at certain times of year, it's really profound, and it's pretty hard to get all the feathers off. Some people pour wax into the processing water, so when you pull the duck out, the wax coats it, and then the wax dries, because you should be processing kind of a cooler temperature. And so then you pull the feathers off in sheets, because the wax grabs onto it. That's one method that I've processed quite a few ducks, and it's very time consuming, extremely so. But you know, they have a higher yield. A lot of poultry processors won't do it. That's why it's hard to find ducks at a local level, because a lot of people won't process it.
I just wanted to make a comment too. We were talking, I think Jesse was mentioning some of the prices of the meat, and I can speak from experience. About probably 7 years ago, I decided I'm going to have real free-range meat, meaning what Jesse was talking about, the meat running around in a pasture, rather than it saying, you know, free-range on a package. But I knew it was going to cost me more, and so that's when I decided, okay, well, what I'm going to have to do is decrease my meat consumption so I can afford that meat consumption and get protein from elsewhere. And I think what has happened is it varied my source of food greatly, because I decided, okay, I need to figure out what other foods I can eat and what's economical if I want to eat meat a certain way. And I think it's much healthier, because I wasn't eating meat, and now I don't eat meat every day. I eat it when I plan it out in my meals. And like, I know the last time I got a chicken at the market, I think I cooked it for probably a good 3 or 4 hours, like Jesse described. Just kind of covered it with water. Basically, the meat was just falling off the bones. I took all the meat, I froze that, and then I probably got a good 4 meals out of that chicken that probably cost me $18, but I still got 4 meals, and the way I was able to stretch it really, you know, kind of harkens back to my grandparents, probably, how they took a chicken and probably fed lots of people with it and knew what to do, because I wasn't just eating one big breast from the chicken. I was eating it in enchiladas, or I was eating, you know, chicken mixed with, you know, some vegetables in a soup or something like that. And so I think that's important too, to realize that, you know, it might be more expensive, but you kind of shift your budget and shift how efficient you are, I think, with your meat. And I think, again, kind of going back to food, we've kind of lost that that ability to kind of make our food stretch in this country as food has gotten really cheaper. So anyways, I'll be glad to talk to you guys or give you more suggestions on that, but that's something that it can be done if you do want to eat the meat, which I think we can all agree tastes much better.